Hello there, everyone. Welcome to a new Let's Play with me, your host, Tim. And today, we will start playing through Disco Elysium together. There will be some prep here that you can skip by going down to the comment section down below, where there will be a pinned comment from me, allowing you to jump ahead to where we start playing the game, making a character, basically, in case you don't want to hear me talk about what Disco Elysium is, what we should expect, the type of character we'll be playing, and how far I got in the game. And actually, we'll cover the character I'll be playing when we go ahead and create our character. So let's go ahead and start talking about the game for a little bit. So, Disco Elysium is a dialogue-heavy role-playing game. Imagine Planescape Torment or Arcanum, where there was almost no combat. That would probably best summarize Disco Elysium. The vast majority of this game is spent talking to people. And the talking that you do is a good amount of it spent trying to understand the game world we're going to find ourselves in. Most of the conversations that I have seen so far do not even relate to the main plot of the game. You can lose yourself in hours of dialogue with the different types of characters here. And it's amazing for that reason alone. The type of character that you build in Disco Elysium will also determine the types of conversations that will present themselves to you as you play the game, allowing you to play through the game multiple times to see different aspects of the game, or possibly solve puzzles in a different way. The game features a rather interesting mechanic when it comes to passing certain skill checks, and often, failing a check is not game over, and it can in fact lead to different conversations, and maybe even bonuses for your character, whereas passing these checks would not have presented the same things to you. I find that really interesting, that it encourages you to keep playing the game despite your failures, and to see how things work out for the character that you are playing. When it comes to the game itself, I've gotten as far as day 2, very early on in day 2, basically it's still pre-noon, and that was as far as I got before I realized that I think I now know enough about the game to actually record it, without things being, how should I say, without me struggling to understand some of how the game works. Why am I recording it? Well, I want a game where I talk a lot, and I think this game can fit that bill. The game is currently very popular. It has a tremendous amount of positive reviews everywhere, and I can kind of understand most of those positive reviews. The game allows you to do things that you would normally not do, and allows your character to follow certain political paths that in today's world would be frowned upon, and the game hated by various people because of allowing you the option to explore different types of political thought. In any case, I think the game is fun. I think we should have fun playing it. I have not seen any of the plot twists yet, and I think it will be fun to see all this together with you guys. So with all that said, I'm going to quickly check on my voice, make sure the game's coming out okay, and assuming everything is good, we'll go ahead and start us up a new game. Okay, everyone. It sounds like my voice is coming out okay with the game volume. The title screen music is a bit loud, but the in-game music won't be so loud. So we shouldn't have too much trouble. I've lowered the music a tad just to be safe. One more thing before we get started on this game. The game's going to feature a large amount of language in it. Or maybe not large amount is the proper term to use, but there's going to be language in it. And some of it a bit vulgar. If you have little ones running around your house and you, for some reason, like playing my playlists at the same time as they're running around, you might want to wear a headset or something of the sort while playing this one. There will be quite a bit of language at certain parts in the game. Okay, with that said, let's go ahead and start us up a new game. So, as with any character role-playing game, we get a choice of a pre-made character, or we get to make our own character. I think we will make our own, which shouldn't surprise anyone, because that's what most people like doing. unlike most of the games I have played, when it comes to making a character, I am not going to try to make me this time around. When I was gifted this game from a friend, I went and looked up a little bit of the game on the Steam store page to understand what type of game I was about to start playing. I can tell you that we will be playing a detective type of character. That is his occupation. And I think it would be fun to create a detective that is not me. In particular, I think it would be fun to pick a pre-existing fictional detective and try to play him. To this end, we will make our own character, and we will make Sam Burke, was the gentleman's name, I believe from the Spawn series. His partner was Twitch, if I recall correctly. Let's go ahead and make him, and I'll try to give you the lowdown on why I'm picking the things I am picking when it comes to creating this character. When we make a character, we can increase our stats at the cost of lowering others, just like any other RPG of this nature. You cannot, in this game, increase a stat beyond 6. And you cannot lower a stat below 1. So for Sam Burke, he struck me as being decently intelligent. He wasn't stupid, so we'll leave him with a 3 intelligence. For his psyche, he, if I recall correctly, he could feel when things were going to go bad or wrong. It's like he had some sort of spider sense, was what the members of the Force used to tease him about. But it was pretty accurate when he needed it to be. And I think that, especially because I think Sam was able to relate to some of the people that he was going after, able to understand how they would think and so on. I think it would make sense to increase his psyche by 1 point. Sam was also he wasn't physically average. He was a bit stronger than average. He wasn't a weightlifter. He was fat, but he was strong, and I think that would make sense for him. And for Motorix, he wasn't an agile gentleman, if I recall correctly. At least I don't think he was. He wasn't very good with a gun when it came to hand-eye coordination either, or things of that sort. So I think this is the stat spread we will use for him. Average intelligence, good psyche, good physique, terrible Motorix. These stats are further broken down into 6 different skills. It's going to be a little tricky for me to explain this. I think it might work best if we see it in the game, how all these skills work, but I'll try my best to give a quick summary here. As the game progresses, we will encounter situations in which all these different skills come into play. These skills will talk to us as if they are a person. For example, we could see some drugs on a counter, and electrochemistry will tell us, hey, that looks like this. You should totally go ahead and snuff that stuff. To which, perhaps, volition will show up as well and say, no, how about you don't do that? You're stronger and better than this. You don't need to take those drugs. Leave it on that counter. All of these, in some capacity, will show up as we play the game, depending upon how well we do for passing passive and then active checks. We'll talk about checks later on in the game as we encounter them. Just know the following for these. The lower they are, the less likely you are to have these skills show up and give you guidance. The higher, the better. The numbers are your base. We have 4 endurance and 4 pain threshold. These diamonds do not represent that number. They represent the maximum number of skill points you can place in a skill, and it is related to the number over here on the left. We're only allowed to put 1 more point in the hand-eye coordination because our Motorix is just 1. Encyclopedia can have 3 put in it, because our intelligence is 3. Still with me so far? Before we can create our character, we have 1 point in order to select a signature skill. Whatever skill we put that in, we'll gain a +1 bonus to it and it alone. But everything else for that type of for that skill set will gain a +1 to the maximum allowed to be placed within it. If I was to take reaction speed, for example, you'll note that even though I have a 1 over here for total motorics, we can actually go up to 2 total points over here for our motorics skills. Now, in the case of Sam Burke, it struck me that he would probably be best for one of these instead. I think that Sam, at the end of the day, really wanted to be a good cop, and that was very important to himself, and to help keep himself together. I think Volition should be the skill that we set as our signature skill. It also, as you can see, would increase the maximum we're allowed to put into our Psyche skills up to 5. Now, all these skills have an overview, which you can see over here, and I will read the info for the skill if I decide to put a point in it, because otherwise we'll be here for 20 minutes reading about all this. So in this case, let's read about Volition, and what it means to have Volition. This is cool for sane people, well-adjusted cops, the non-suicidal. Volition urges you to be a good guy, to others and to yourself. It enables you to resist temptation, be it in a bottle, between a pair of legs, or at the end of an iron barrel which promises oblivion. Volition gives you the will to finish the investigation, improving your morale, one of the 2 health pools in the game. At high levels, Volition makes you hyper-sane. When you're about to get funky, it keeps you normal. It's a bit of a party pooper. At low levels, however, you'll have little morale. Without it, you'll be a profoundly unstable cop, falling apart at the seams as you make irreversible mistakes. Every skill in this game has a penalty for being too low, and a penalty for being too high. You might be able to make every Volition check you make, but then you'll miss out on some aspects of this game by doing so. For example, if we had increased pain threshold, let's say that we increased to rank 8 or 9, we will love pain and love inflicting it on ourselves, for example, becoming a masochist. At low levels, though, if someone was to even slap us, we might start crying because of how much it hurt. It's like that with all of the skills we see here. And yes, all these look really creepy, which I think is very accurate, given that these are basically aspects of the human body or psyche which are trying to communicate with us. Alright, anyway, with all that said, hope this made sense to character creation. Let's go ahead and confirm and begin our adventure. The Furies are at home in the mirror. It is their address. Even the clearest water, if deep enough, can drown.
There is nothing. Only warm primordial blackness. Your conscious ferments in it. No larger than a single grain of malt. You don't have to do anything anymore. Ever. Never, ever.
Simply keep on non-existing.
An inordinate amount of time passes. It is utterly void of struggle. No ex-wives are contained within it.
This is great.
Yes, it is.
What was that about the X something?
An awareness creeps up on you. A mass lies hidden in your dead angle.
soaking in some lurid acidic sauce. It's bloated and shameful, a ball of meat surrounding you. This is a terrible line of questioning, and it will only lead to more awareness of the meat thing.
Plunge back into the fathomless deep.
There, no ball of meat, no light in the formless nothing, just night swimming.
I like nothing.
I know you do, baby. I know.
How about you cough up some more of that sweet oblivion?
Coming right up, sir. Smooth passage.
Alright, I want to get off now. I like pain and burning light and wanting things from people who don't want to give them to me.
Do you really?
I do. Let me off.
You wouldn't like it if I told you what was back there. Why'd you think you had to bludgeon yourself into oblivion? Or did you not sense yourself marinating? Poured so much over yourself. Got a bit carried away, did we, Chef?
Inland Empire. Fear and apprehension. You should ask what's out there first. Tell me, what's waiting for me?
There's this giant ball there, in evil apes. And the evil apes are juking it out on the ball. You're one of them. It's basically all just evil apes juking it out on a giant ball.
How big is the ball?
You can't even make out it's a ball when you're juking it out. It's that large.
How small are the apes?
Infinitesimally small.
And this duking it out I keep hearing about, what's that?
Vying for resources. It's a stupid expression you picked up somewhere. The part of the presentation you want to take home with you is this. You have to beat the other evil apes in the face, or you lose.
That sounds like something I would like to do. Let's go.
Somewhere in the sore, bloated man-meat around you. A sensation. Like a fly to the ointment, your conscience sticks to it. The limbed and headed machine of pain and undignified suffering is firing up again. It wants to walk the desert, hurting, longing, dancing to disco music.
Volition. You can take it. You're a champion. No, I'm not scared. I am a champion.
The stench of liquor rises from your mouth, and with it, an ungodly headache.
Who... help someone cut my head off. It's trying to murder the rest of me.
A fiery streak penetrates your skull, trying to force your eyes open. It's a sound, a clarion call from hell.
Don't we look heroic? Hello everyone! Welcome to the game. Let's cover a few things while we're here, the GUI in particular, and then we'll get going. Down here on the lower left, we can see our character's portrait. We don't know what we look like, which is why we see this here at the moment. This is our life meter. We can take 4 damage and then we're dead. This is our morale meter. We can take 5 damage to it, and then, as far as I'm aware, we're dead. Endurance defines how many hit points you have. Volition defines your morale. If we later pick up any items that can heal our health or our morale, or if we would naturally recover these things, we will gain charges, which can be used to heal your health or your morale, as needed. Down over here, this button lets you see all of your skills. The numbers on them indicate your current levels, both affected by your stats, any skill points you have selected, and the clothing you are wearing, which we will cover in a few seconds. This gives you access to your inventory. This gives you access to your quest and or your journal. This gives you access to your thought cabinet, something we will discover later on. and this is the item in your left hand and the item in your right hand. This represents the amount of money you have picked up. This is the current hour and minute of the day, and we are currently on day 1. Alright, well, let's get started. You see bottles in the bathtub, wine, beer, and sweet liqueurs. If we hold down tab, everything we can click on will be highlighted for us. It's like that door is locked. A white satin shirt. White satin shirt. +1 conceptualization. A real statement to wear. -1 suggestion. Unsavory odor. This white satin shirt used to be fancy. It used to really catch the light. Now it smells like someone took a piss in the armpits. Do you see these +1 and -1? Those are totally affecting our stats. Our conceptualization is now at 4. Our suggestion is down to 3. A mirror hangs above a bent and broken sink. In a fierce discharge of masculine energy, someone has ripped half the faucet off. Hot water sprays from the base and steam covers the mirror. You cannot see yourself, just the outline of a man. Suddenly you realize that you have no memory of the face that awaits you there, underneath the soft vapor. Really? Nothing. Really? All recollection of the person you are, the people in your life, and even the world you're in has drowned in a sea of blood alcohol. This was no mere night of drinking, it was a deluge of world-ending proportions. Wipe the mirror. As you slowly reach your hand toward the surface of the mirror, do you notice this continue, everyone? See how it's purple and then red? This is indicating that some part of our psyche, which is purple in color, is about to talk to us. Inland Empire. Abort! You clearly have not thought this through. You won't like what you see there, and you will never unbecome it. Do you see that succeeded up there? So this is called I think this is called a passive check. All throughout the game, certain skills of ours wants to talk to us, and will only do so if they succeed in a passive check. The passive checks are fixed in stone, to my knowledge. For example, this check is always an easy 8 that Inland Empire has to pass. If our psyche was 1, however, we would not have passed this, because the way our total is added up is it takes the number 7 and adds whatever our current skill stat is to that result. Actually, it might be 6 now that I think about it. Yes, 6. So here's our Inland Empire. We got +4 to the stat, and thus we have a 10 total. All right. So Inland Empire is warning us that we should not wipe the mirror. Maybe I should touch it first. Make sure there's nothing wrong with my face. Yeah, there is definitely something wrong with it. What's wrong? Where to even begin? There's the bloatedness, then the swollenness. It's like there's an upholstery of alcohol underneath your skin. I'm sorry. Touch your nose. Bet you are. Your nose feels like a small balloon in the middle of your face. It hurts when you honk it, and it doesn't appear to be a particularly tiny nose either. Not with all the drinks it's absorbed for you. At least my tongue is okay. We'll touch our tongue. It's not. It's swollen and snail-like, wriggling between your fingers. I'm scared. I want to stop doing this. Don't be scared. It's only your face. It's not like anyone's gonna see it. I'm out of here. We should talk about time a little bit, everyone. The way time advances in this game is that whenever you are reading text or description or talking to one of your skills or discussing something with a person, time will probably elapse. 1 minute, generally, for every paragraph that you read. It does not pass, or I have not seen it pass, in any other way. If we were to stand here and not do anything else, this clock, to my knowledge, would never move. So you're not rushed in this game, other than you'll feel like time is slipping through your fingers as you spend it in conversation. Now that said, it's very important that you talk to people, and you will often really want to try to get as much information from them as possible. But we'll need to keep in mind that time is ticking forward as we do so. Alright, well, let's get, I think, our tie down from this. This fan has 2 chain pole switches. One ends in a tiny fan, the other in a light bulb. A truly horrific necktie has somehow attached itself to one of the blades. Inland Empire. Or has it been consigned there as punishment? You feel as though this creature is your friend and wants to reattach itself to your neck so that you may continue your adventures together in this strange world. We could try grabbing the tie. This is an active check. Instead of just getting a +6 to what we roll, to our skill, we will roll a dice instead. And unlike failing a passive check, which often just results in you never knowing it existed in the first place, there will be consequences for failing or passing a check. Sometimes, failing an active check actually is a really good thing, and can lead to new conversation topics, new thoughts for your thought cabinet, and in which case you might gain increased stats, or might lead you down a new quest path that wasn't there before. Other times, horrible things can happen to you. You may lose life or morale for failing a check as well. I will very rarely try to pass active checks if the chance is below like 42% or lower. I might still make the attempt, but I will not do so here quite yet. I also need to point out one more thing about this check. Notice this says this is a white check. What that means is that if we fail this check, and then later on we gain a level, if we were to put that level into savoir faire, we could remake the attempt to take the tie again. But until we did that, or until we gained some sort of special modifier that would allow us to take this test again, we would never be able to take it again. In this case, actually, let's go ahead and pull on the fan chain to stop the fan from moving. The blades come to a squeaking halt. It should be easier to reach the tie now. Now that is much easier. 72%? Let's try it. You can see that we rolled an 8. We got a +3. Our savoir faire was 1. So all told, we got a 12. And we had to pass a 10 or higher. You swoop up and catch the tie. Snap. It's released from the blade. Warning, warning. The necktie is no longer contained. You have in your hand, what you have in your hand is a fantastically colorful tie with 4 or 5 different patterns. The knot reminds you of a noose. Let's pull on the light bulb. A terrible mistake. Turn the lights off immediately. You can practically feel the photons burning a hole in your brain. Pain threshold. It's just a little hangover-induced photosensitivity. Don't overreact. Bring it on. Pain threshold. Little black spots dance on your retinas. It's almost pleasurable. Horrific necktie. The necktie is adorned with a garish pattern. It's disturbingly vivid. Somehow you feel as if it would be wrong to ever take it off. It's your friend now. You will betray it if you change it for some boring scarf. The necktie gives us +1 to Inland Empire. Vivid imagination. I suppose we should put our pants on now. Perception, hearing. You hear a jingle. Keys are clinking in the pocket of your flare-cut pants. Fish them out. Perception, sight. It says, whirling in rags on the aluminum keyring. There's a single key on the ring. The number 1 is etched on it. It should open the door. Our pants are giving us -1 savoir-faire, tight around the thighs, and +1 electrochemistry, tight around the crotch. These golden brown trousers are flare-cut. Normal bell-bottom trousers would be boot-cut, but these are far from normal. They are someone's piss-soaked, cum-stained party pants. Disco-ass blazer. +1 Esprit de Corpse. Halogen watermarks. Looks like someone skinned this blazer off some long-extinct disco animal. It has an... oh, I can't pronounce this. Enigmatic white rectangle on the back and the right sleeve. Looks like it has a watermark on the left and right elbow as well, but I don't see it here. This magnum-sized bottle of Commodore Red is empty. Looks like someone tore out the tape while the song was playing. Oh, I see. All this is the strands of the tape. This reel-to-reel tape player is still on, rolling empty. I want to point out one thing, everyone. If you were playing this game with a different type of character who maybe had more motorics, you would have noticed this window here, this window crack, would have been clickable. It is not for us. We would also maybe have seen the actual tape, the cassette that this tape was a part of, buried under the speaker. But we don't see it either. The character you create, the stats and skills that you give yourself, the clothing that you wear, it all will determine what type of adventure you're going to be having as you play the game. I really like that. It makes for some interesting choices as to the type of character you will be going through the game world with, and allows you to replay this game. I think. It will add quite a bit of replayability to the game, I think, as well. Item gained, green shoe, left foot. This green crocodile leather shoe has a high heel and chrome embellishments. It fits your left foot perfectly. Now all that remains is to find the other one. Mirova, 20 degrees centigrade. Partial cloud cover. The colors on an item or object also hint as to the type of statistic which is allowing you to notice the thing. There's something on the table. Money. 0.40 real. The smell of the sea makes you dizzy. A gust of briny wind washes over you. Hey, here's our other shoe. Item gained, snakeskin shoes. Composure. There they both are. Two identical shoes, both copiously green and indiscriminately snakeskin. Reunited on your feet. Conceptualization. Like two baby crocodiles. How do they fit? Composure. Good. They're balanced. Comfy. Feels like the only good thing about you right now, truth be told.
officer.
The calendar says it's March. The year is 51. I can't pronounce her name. Klasje? Miss Orange Disco Dancer. The young woman raises a cigarette to her lips. Officer? Am I military personnel?
No.
She seems perplexed by your question. Authority? There's only one solution to this. You're a businessman. Wait, I know. I'm a businessman. Chief Executive Officer, right? The young woman shakes her head slowly. Okay, Chief Technical Officer?
No. You're a police officer, sir?
You're goddamn right I'm a policeman, and don't you forget it.
Okay, cool. I won't.
Empathy. She means it. She wouldn't defy authority, however sweaty and bloated it may look. Good. Now, how'd you know I was a police officer?
First, I have to ask, are you okay, sir?
All of a
You look like
sudden,
you're about to throw up. Can I bring you something?
she's right. Something wants to come out through your mouth, but you keep it down because your body does not control you. Thank you, Endurance, for letting us not throw up in front of her. It's a small wonder I'm able to even formulate this very thought, but I'm fine. How'd you know I was a cop?
Sir, you've been here for 3 days. On official police business, as you put it.
Oh, what kind of business?
I couldn't say. In truth, so far, mostly drinking.
Notice that this is a red check. So if we try this, we will not get another chance to try it in the future. It's a one-time only thing. Notice as well that this is a suggestion check. We cannot change our equipment in the middle of a conversation, and our suggestion is currently -1 thanks to the shirt we are wearing. Keep that in mind when talking to people. If there's a white check and you can come back and retake it later, it might be best to end the conversation, switch clothing around, and then retry the conversation option again. In this case, however, Sam Burke I don't think would hit on a girl. I don't remember him ever being a womanizer or even asking anyone out. Then again, I only watched the HBO miniseries, animated series, so I didn't read the comic, but I don't think he did anything like this. Why would anyone let me be an officer of the law? God, sorry everyone. My phone's going off and I freaking hate that telemarketer that calls me 18 times a day. Don't be so harsh on yourself. They let almost anyone be a police officer. Authority, a glibby mark. Don't let it stand. Assert yourself. Actually, I can see why they wouldn't trust me with the law. I have the right character. A fondness for contradictory statements? No, in the course of our brief conversation, I have masterfully suppressed the urge to throw up. This is a sign of professionalism. Thank you, sir, she smiles lazily. I mean that. I don't really remember being a cop or anything else for that matter. I can see that. Good. Is it? She raises an eyebrow. The cigarette sizzles. Alright, I should get going now.
Of course. Be careful, officer. They don't like the police around here.
She looks back at you, a light glinting off her eyes.
Goodbye.
Looks like she left a nice long stub in the ashtray. It's still smoking. Electrochemistry. You should pick that fat, juicy cigarette butt from the tray, light it up, and smoke that living shit out of it. The what now? The living shit! Your mesolimbic reward pathway does not mince words. It wants smokes. Am I a smoker? Who knows what you are? A monster? A murderer? The gnome of Jeroma? You feel like a smoker, especially when you look at that juicy, succulent, seductive cigarette stub. still smoldering deliciously. But she broke it at the filter. I can't smoke that. Oh, apparently we know enough about cigarettes to know that we can't smoke this cigarette. How very astute of you. This renders it ineffectual. You should look for a whole cigarette. Or better yet, an entire pack. Strike that! A carton! Make sure they're all healthy and able-bodied, then smoke them all. Horrific necktie. The idea seems to make your neck expand. Suddenly, the garish tie feels very snug. Conceptualization. Like a cat rubbing itself against its owner's calves. A cat that wants you to smoke a lot. Volition. Or, you could not do that. No one is making you. Well, I'll think about it. Electrochemistry. Good. Thinking about yummy cigarettes in your mouth is the next best thing. Make sure you think about juicy sticks of tobacco all the time, though. It doesn't count if it's not all the time. And when you're done thinking about them, graduate to getting them. Plus, smoking them gives massive bonuses. Thank you, Electrochemistry. Our first quest, everyone. Find smokes and smoke them. You need to get your hands on some cigarettes and then smoke them for those massive bonuses. Find a pack, put it in your hand, and the smokes will do the rest. I can tell you a little bit about cigarettes because I did get them in the 1.2 days I had played. Smoking a cigarette will damage your health by 1 point, but it will give you +1 to all of your intelligence stats for like an hour or so in the game. It's not a massive bonus, but it is a bonus, and that can be useful at certain times. Oh, we have... Oh, wait, no. Did we do this? Oh, right. We didn't read about this. Green snakeskin shoes. +1 composure. Awesome watchtower heals. -1 savoir-faire. Heals ridiculously high. They may have lost some of their luster over the years, but these green crocodile leather shoes fit you perfectly. This is the weekend edition of the satirical newspaper, Trompe Monde. Nothing on the front page rings a bell. Strange. Looks like I lost my memory about everything. Summer door closed for the winter. This is where the lyrics would be. Looks like a karaoke bar. A big old karaoke mic just waiting for someone to sing into it. The speaker is connected to the radio. The music is seasoned with static. Inland Empire. You should totally sing karaoke here. The first chance you get. Your emotions need to be expressed. People need to know of your vast, oceanic soul. My soul is modest. It's normal-sized. Exactly. It's measured, level-headed, and it needs to be heard. Through a PA system. By other people. Half-light. Whether they like it or not. Ram it up their ears, says your adrenaline gland. Violently express yourself. What should I sing when it comes to it? You have not yet stumbled on the right lamentation. But it's out there. It'll come to you. You'll wreak havoc with it. Don't worry. I was thinking maybe I could sing something happy. Get the people going. No, don't sing the happy song. It's stupid. Sing the sad song. It's profound. You have to find something tragic to sing first, though. You need to get your hands on some... Oh, we read that one. Sing karaoke. You need to find a sufficiently tragic tape, then play it on a boombox to mesmerize the lyrics. Then, ask the Cafeteria Manager to perform. We need to get a hold of a sad song on tape first. I don't know why the inventory keeps showing up every so often. We didn't gain anything by doing that. Alright, hello, person. Gart, the cafeteria manager. A man in his late 20s stands behind the counter, inspecting a stuffed seabird. As you approach, he gives you a sideways glance, then looks down again. Empathy. That was disdain in his eyes. Even now, he's purposely ignoring you. Are you the bartender? No.
No, I'm not the bartender. I'm the cafeteria manager.
You look like a bartender.
That period of my life is over. Not everyone who stands behind a counter is a bartender, okay? I'm the cafeteria manager.
Understood. Look at the stuffed bird. A competent work of taxidermy, the white and brown seabird lies among piles of coasters and drying mugs, one of its wings broken. The man is trying to mend it. Looks like the bird was ripped off the shield that was used to mount it, most likely on a wall. Inland Empire. Something about it makes you feel bitter. Say nothing. The man plucks at the seabird, frowning. Something tells me you don't like me.
Oh no, you're a hero. A real hero cop.
Logic. Could the massive property damage upstairs have anything to do with this? You're being sarcastic.
Am I? Or did you ride in, take the body down, solve the murder, and not trash my hostel room?
I don't appreciate your tone. This is no way to talk to an officer.
Oh, it's not?
He raises his shoulders like he's about to say something more, but then gets a hold of himself.
You're right. It's not.
Authority. Success. He has no respect for you personally, but this man sees himself as a law-abiding citizen, and you have a representative of that law. He tries to avoid outright conflict. The menu has been wiped clean. Only the word Monday is written on it. This is a water cooler. A large bubble is rising to the surface. The door is bolted. A sign reads, "Kitchen reserved for personnel until 1300. Notice that we can click on this, everyone. There is, to my knowledge, no penalty for clicking on anything that you want to click on, in so much that people won't complain about you rummaging through things behind them or around them. If it's clickable, to my knowledge, you can go ahead and do it. And we'll earn some Nosafed. We can now use this when we want, and we'll be able to heal 1 health hit point when we do so. A sign reads, "Mess hall reserved for union members. Doors open 1600. This royal pinball machine is unplugged.
Hello, sweetie.
Lena, the cryptozoologist's wife.
You shouldn't keep your colleague waiting.
She nods towards the man in the orange bomber jacket. Kim Kitsurugi. A bespectacled man in an orange bomber jacket is tapping his foot on the floor. Looks like he's waiting for someone. You. As you approach, he narrows his eyes and extends his hand in greeting. Esprit de corps. Success, obviously. If an assault were launched on this building right now, if the windows came crashing down, and the whole world descended upon you, this man would hurl himself in death's way to save you. You are sure of this. But why? Esprit de corps is our ability to recognize people of the police force, understand the police, and what might be happening by people on our force at any given time. Hold on, who is he to me? He is your half-brother. Shake his hand. By the way, I said, obviously, most of the passive checks in the game that you pass well, actually I think all of them that you pass, will show up here. Some which you fail might still show up here, but most of your failures you will never see in any dialogue option. Let's shake his hand.
Hello, I'm Kim Kitsuragi, Lieutenant, Precinct 57. You must be from the 41st.
You realize he's waiting for your name. Inland Empire. This is your chance to come up with something with a really good name for yourself. Get creative. Conceptualize. It's not a good chance, but I can't take off any of my clothing. My conceptualization is +1, so this is the best chance we're going to get. Let's go ahead and do it. Invent a name for ourselves. We rolled boxcars on that. Concentration makes you squint your eyes. Your name should be deep golden orange, like a forest fire looming on the horizon, but mixed with the stench of liqueur rising from your breath. You're 2 steps closer to it, but there are still many to go. We'll tell Kim, it's not yet time.
Okay then.
He processes the information and disregards it.
It looks like we had a little scheduling error on Sunday. Saturday too, actually. Have you had time to talk to the manager here?
You mean him? Nod toward the cafeteria manager. Yeah, I just talked to him.
If you don't mind, we should talk to him again. Ask him for a rundown of the area. Now that I'm here as well. I understand the scene is out back, right?
Gart did mention that we showed up, we got the body down, we solved the murder, and he was being sarcastic about these things.
It also wouldn't hurt to assure him the police are finally here. In full force, I mean. Have you mapped out the initial interviews?
I haven't.
Okay, we'll have time for that after we take a look at the coroner's case. Have you removed the dead body from the tree?
No.
So the body is still in the tree.
Empathy. This is the first time you detect a weariness in the lieutenant's voice. It is obvious he would have preferred for the body to no longer be in the tree.
Where it has been hanging for 7 days straight. We should go there as soon as we are done talking to the owner.
How can you be so sure I'm from the police? I was sent here to meet a detective from Precinct 41. You have the insignia of the Citizens Militia on your sleeve and on your back. He points to your jacket. I suppose you could be impersonating him. You could have gotten the insignia from the black market or forged it. But for now, I'm going to set those possibilities aside. I'm not from the Inspectorate General. You said insignia. These white rectangles, you mean? Point to your sleeve. Yes. But they're just white rectangles. They're not just white rectangles. They bear a halogen watermark with the letters RCM and a pattern resembling the street grid of Revachol West. I would ask you to step into the headlights of my motor carriage, but again, it's none of my concern. I just need you to do your job. But shouldn't I have a badge or something? Check your pockets. You mean you don't have a badge? It was not on me when I woke up. Losing your identification card is a serious matter. My vehicle has a shortwave. You can use it to report your badge missing. I would advise you to locate it as quickly as possible, but getting the body down should still take precedence. Kim, I can't remember anything. He looks at you for a moment in silence. I can see you drank last night and the night before, and that you are still drunk now. But I have seen officers go through much worse. Much worse. If you need something for your headache, there is a general store nearby. But as I said, the dead body should be our #1 concern. Pain threshold. Yeah, a painkiller would be good about now. This thing is pulsating with discomfort. Electrochemistry. The best cure for a headache is, of course, morphine. They won't have that, so cigarettes will have to do. Alright, let's go. After you, officer. Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi is now in your party. You can talk to him whenever by clicking on him. So, we have some new quests. You need to report your missing badge to the 41st Precinct as soon as possible. The lieutenant said that you can use the radio in his motorcar to call your station. The cafeteria manager of the Whirling in Rags might know something about the murder that happened in the yard. Ask him about it. Inspect the body hanging in the backyard of the Whirling in Rags. This is a preliminary inspection. You just need to suppress the urge to throw up and approach it. The man with the unimpressive beard notices you approaching. He drops the ledger he was holding and turns to the lieutenant.
Mr. Gart, right? You run this place.
Yes.
He responds tersely.
I am Kim Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. This is an inter-district investigation, so joining me from Precinct 41...
He looks to you, realizing that he still doesn't know your name. I'm currently in between names.
Fantastic.
It's like when you've left your band, but you haven't decided on a solo artist name yet.
That's wonderful. Rarely I think so, but there's a dead body out back. No one wants to work in these conditions. It's been a week.
Sir, I understand your concern, but we are here to do a job. And for us to do it, I need you to stay calm.
Yes, of course.
He takes a step back. Authority. For a moment, the cafeteria manager fidgets under the lieutenant's gaze. Then he gives in.
I know it took us a while to arrive at the scene, but it also took you a while to call us. It was you who placed the call, correct?
No, I only just got here. It was probably Sylvie who called you. She usually works the bar here. I'm only temporarily taking over her duties.
Do you have her number?
As a matter of fact, I do.
He looks behind a pile of coasters, rises up a paper, and hands it to the lieutenant.
You said you just got here. From where? Are you a local?
What? Of Martinez? No, I live in Jamrock. I only sometimes come here to keep an eye on the place. This is just one of the many, many cafeterias I manage.
But you still know your way around, yes? In case we need directions.
Yes, I know where some things are. But as I said, I don't live here. I just used to work here. And I'm not going to start working here again, if that's what you think.
I didn't imply that. Detective?
Yes?
I have everything. You?
Oh, you mean, do I have questions?
Yes, he means do you have questions for me, like a police officer would.
The cafeteria manager is clearly agitated again. Why did Sylvie go away? She went away because none of your business. Fine. Extra fine. Where exactly is the body? Behind this building, there's a courtyard. He points to the kitchen behind him. They hoisted him up on a tree there. And how do we get there, then? That's easy. See that door there? He points to the west. First you exit through that. Then to your right, you should see a big hole in the fence. A really big one. You can get to the courtyard through there. No need for the keys. The hole is big enough for the Franconigarian cavalry to fit through. Empathy. Does he want you to feel guilty of making that hole? It's implied in his voice. Who killed him? I don't know who killed him. I'm not the police. That's your job. Did you kill him? What are you, crazy? Of course I didn't kill him. Half-light. Suddenly, you tense up. Blood is being pushed to your muscles. You should hound him on this. Hound him hard, the prey drive says. Did you kill him, Gart? No, I didn't. You can tell me, Gart. You killed him, right? I didn't. He turns to the lieutenant. I don't appreciate this. What is this? Why'd you have to kill him? Do I have to answer him? He asks Kim. Is this mandatory? The lieutenant stands motionless. His expression unreadable. Did he hurt you? Is that why? Did you get some kind of sick kick out of killing him? What are you, an idiot? I told you I haven't killed anyone. Anyone? Have you killed someone else then? He ignores you. That's all. Let's go. Not so fast. Gart points to us. You owe me 130 real. No one is saying the multi-patterned necktie you found tied to the ceiling can talk. No one. It might be merely imagination, but... Our necktie says, let's bail. Time to push the eject button. Sounds like a responsibility. You don't like those. Volition. No. Don't listen to him. It's madness. Just talk. What's real? Oh, excuse me. You owe me 130 real. He pronounces the R with a mock aristocratic accent, which I cannot do. Encyclopedia. The IIR, or Inter-Isolary Real, is a global reserve currency. Whatever part of the world you're in right now, it's safe to assume he means you owe him some money. Oh, by real, do you mean some form of street cred? No, you don't owe me street cred. You owe me money. You owe this establishment 130 real. He points to the red ledger on the counter. Horrific necktie. Who does that clown think he is? Arrest him! Did I just hear my tie speak to me twice? No one is saying that. No one is saying the tie can talk. That would be ludicrous. It's just that... You should arrest him. It would be wiser. He wants to take your money. I'm not comfortable with this. Try to somehow tuck the tie away. Lieutenant watches you fiddle with your horrific necktie, sweat stains forming under your armpits. He puts his hand on your shoulder. If you don't have the money, it's okay. None of us are in this for the wages. Authority. That's Cop 4. I haven't offered to pay because I don't have any money either. What do I owe this place for? Let's see. He dramatically turns a page in the ledger. 3 nights at the tariff of 20 real comes to 60 real. Then there's the window you annihilated. The hole in the window was the first thing I saw when I came to work, so don't try to tell me you didn't. That would be 40 real in damages. Another thing you've annihilated is half the bar. You run a tab of 30 real, actually more, but we'll run it down to 30 for your hard work maintaining the stability and order of Revachol. That's 60 plus 40 plus 30 equals 130 real, and yes, real is still money. But what exactly is money? What are you, a philosopher? Actually, I might be. Money is what grown-up people use to pay things. Things like this hostel room, or, he peeks into the ledger, or 8 bottles of potent blend and 9 packs of Royal Extra. We use it for everything, really. Proceed and show him the coins you found. Is this money? Yes, it is. Count them and give them to him. That's 10 plus 10 plus 20 equals 40. Now down to 90, right? No. You see, there's a tinge of sadness in his voice. That's 40 cents. Cents are a form of currency 100 times smaller than the real. I'm not even going to take this. Come back when you have 130 real. 100 times smaller. Yes. But that's horrible. It is. He stands silently, looking at the coppers on the counter. Conceptualization. Isn't it evil? The order of magnitude between what is asked of a person and what they have. Darkness rides. Pick up the coins. It does, doesn't it? There's a shuffle of nylon as Lieutenant Kitsuragi looks for something in the pockets of his orange bomber. What happens now? He turns to the Lieutenant. I'm sorry, but he has to pay. I can't let him stay here any longer if he doesn't. If he doesn't have the money by tonight, then... He shrugs. Officer, maybe you're better off working this from home for now? You live in Jamrock, right? It's not that far away. I don't remember where my home is. Officer, A pattern creases appears on his forehead. You really need to take this up with your station. I have a shortwave radio in my car. Call them. Ask for assistance. We have to get this investigation started now. The man wants to say something, then thinks better of it. Good luck. Encyclopedia. By the way, where is home? The address is coming up blank, and this place sure isn't it. I really don't remember. But you've been at this hostile cafeteria for only 3 nights. Where were you before? You had to be somewhere. I don't know. Near? South, maybe? You don't really know, do you? I have only a vague, blackened image. A vague, blackened image doesn't sound like somewhere you can stay if you run out of money. What would Sam do in this situation? He would probably try piecing it back together and finding out where he lived. Could I trace the way back somehow to the exact street, the exact number on a building? You can try. Run some addresses in your head when you get the time. Maybe a street or an apartment will appear. Alright, everyone. So, first we gained and lost a little bit of money. We have some new quests. We have who made the call reporting the crime. Someone reported the hanging to the RCM. Maybe you find out who it was. It may shed new light on the events. You have an idea where to start, but the caller could have been anyone. Call Sylvie using Kim's shortwave to ask whether she made the call. Pay for damages. You need to pay for the damages you caused in the whirling in rags, or you won't have a place to stay tonight. Ask around for money, and be careful with your spending. If you're unsure how much you owe, ask Gart. Ask your station for additional funds. We picked up a thought. Lonesome, long way home. Let's rewind. Let's trace your drunken steps back home. Jump across the raised channel bridge southwest of here. Fall over. Get up. Get off the asphalt in 20 minutes. Shuffle your feet through the courtyards, scaring little children. Go under the great raised motor tract, the 881, until you reach La Domine Eminente in North Jamrock. The streets are frozen this time of year, caked with ice. Walk down Main, to Perdition. There's a side alley there, and your footprints in the mud. This is our thought cabinet, everyone. We have 3 spaces for thoughts. Others must be unlocked as you go through the game. Every time you internalize one of these, which is to say you start researching it and then you finish it, you will keep it forever unless you spend a skill point to discard it. It will take us 6 hours and 5 minutes to fully research or think about Lonesome Long Way Home, and then we will have unlocked it. During our research, we will gain +1 encyclopedia as our factual memory returns. When it's done, this may go away, and there may be something else here instead. Note as well that it will take us 6 hours and 5 minutes of game time in order to process this thought. A woman's hand wrote yesterday's menu. Today's starts in a man's handwriting. A bottle of rum has been knocked over. Beautiful dark liquid is spilling out. Electrochemistry. That sugary black rum stained on the counter makes you teary-eyed with joy. It's almost touching how syrupy and sticky it is. How long have you been up already? An hour? Sweet Lord, a whole hour! You haven't thought about rum and lemonade in all that time? You've truly extinguished all trace of yourself. Actually, should I be thinking about this? Looks like drinking hasn't turned out too well for me. Maybe you haven't turned out well for your drinking? Have you thought about that? Get a goddamn rum and lemonade into yourself, boy. Or better yet, lick that stain off the counter. No, we're not gonna lick it. What happened, man? You used to be cool. Go get your boring, normal person drink then. It would go well with those cigarettes. That's a great combination. New quest, everyone. Find booze and drink it. The hangover feels really bad. You have to take the edge off. Find a bottle of alcohol, put it in your hand, and the magic will happen on its own. I didn't get any alcohol last time I played, though, which is to say I played the 1.2 days, and I don't think I'm going to do it this time either. I don't know why this keeps popping up our equipment. Sleeping dock worker. A man is sleeping at the table, wearing mud-caked boots and rolled-down overalls. The back of his shirt reads, Wild Pines, encircled by a logo with a tree. On the counter, rolled out of his open hand, you see a blister pack of headache medicine. Oh, let's pick up the pills. The man does not mind. You probably need them more than he does. You just picked up medicine, so we've gained a charge for our morale healing if need be. Lieutenant, who is this? No idea. Looks like he works for Wild Pines, the logistics company who owns and operates the harbor. But why is he sleeping during the day? Possibly because there's a strike going on in the harbor. There's not much to do, aside from drinking and sleeping. We could try waking him up. Let's give it a try. Roll a 6, we need a 7. You gently shake his shoulder, but nothing happens. The man could probably sleep soundly in the ship's engine room. This is now locked because we failed the check. In order to make another attempt at this, we will need to gain +1 physical instrument. We'll need something that lets us try this check again. Either a particular thought in our thought cabinet, or some information about this gentleman that leads us to being allowed to make the check again. Notice that the game didn't end or anything of the sort. We just failed that check. Any information he might have, we're just not going to get. And that's all there is to it.
Hello again, sweetie. I see you met up with your colleague.
She looks at the lieutenant. The lieutenant nods politely. Oh, who's Sweetie?
Why? You are, officer.
I'm no Sweetie. Look at me.
You are a handsome man, officer, with your moustache and your chiseled jaw, and that silly dimple on your chin.
Dimple or not, I'm a bitter man. The years have taken their toll.
Take heart, officer. You're still a man in your prime. You must forgive me. I'm getting so scatterbrained, I completely forgot to introduce myself. I'm Lena. My husband Morel and I are staying with our friend Gary just down the street, but I come here for tea when they're away.
Her eyes glitter over the rims of her glasses as she looks up smiling. Esprit de corps. This Lena is wacky enough for the motley crew. Hire her on the spot. Oh, can we get her as another member of our team? I think that wouldn't go over so well, Esprit de corps. You seem to be in a chair. Yes, dear. I'm a paraplegic. Encyclopedia. A paraplegic is someone with limited or no ability to use the lower half of their body. Paraplegia is caused by spinal cord injuries, like falling from a great height, or a grenade explosion. Huh. A grenade. Did you fight in a war? No, dear. I'm not quite that old, although I was injured in line of duty. Were you a mountaineer? And nothing so glamorous, dear. Though when I was young, I dreamt of planting the Revacholian flag on some figurative speak. What did you do then? I was a training and development manager at a rapidly expanding mail-order shoe company. You'd think it would be a safe job, but I had to be everywhere and, well, once I happened to be under some faulty scaffolding. I was lucky. This was almost 20 years ago, and I was compensated exceptionally well. One can only dream of such payoffs nowadays. She runs her hands over the chrome wheels of her chair. I'm sorry, it was rude of me to mention the wheelchair. Let's move on. That's quite all right. I'm used to people asking questions. I know they're thinking about it anyway. Empathy. There is no bitterness in her voice. She accepted the curiosity her condition inspires a long time ago. I'm not going to ask her for money. She's in a wheelchair. The last thing I want to do is beg her for cash. I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't know where I am or what I'm doing or anything. Her eyes follow your movements with some concern. Yes, officer, you look rather dazed, like a stunned fox, but surely things can't be that bad? I hope you're right. I hope it's not too bad. You know where we are, right? The Whirling in Rags cafeteria? It was on my keys. That's right. And where is Whirling in Rags? Where is the Whirling in Rags cafeteria located? The edge of civilization. Yeah, let's look with this. The edge of civilization. She flashes you a worried look. We're in the city of Revachol, dear. Okay. Yes, and Revachol? She examines you. Honestly, I don't know diddly squat about Revachol. What kind of place is this? Her gray eyes widen. How could I even begin to tell you? Revachol is the most beautiful city in the world. We're fortunate to be here, you and I. I haven't seen very many other cities personally, but everyone says so. Revachol is a rare jewel. This city used to rule the world, though it has seen better days. There's a pause as she studies your expression. You must look quite lost. Speaking of history, you know what year it is, yes? It's the spring of 51. That's right, dear. How splendid. Here, take this pen. Knowledge should always be rewarded. Composure. Her relief is palpable. She was getting pretty worried about you there, but now she relaxes her shoulders. I can tell this is taxing on you, so I'll just ask one more question. What regime are we living under? What mode of government? So, these are all interesting answers. Some of these would make Sam Burke, I guess, lean to a certain political persuasion. On that note, everyone, I have no clue what Sam Burke's political persuasion even is. I don't remember it ever being approached in the HBO animated series, and I did not read the comic. I'm unfamiliar with Twitch and Sam Burke beyond the fact that I think I wanted to play this character because of what I watched in that series. So, if you could tell me if Sam's political ideologies were ever hinted at, that would be amazing, because then I could role-play him that way. Otherwise, if there was no such thing, then we have to come up with what his political leanings will be, and then we should have him be that type of person. In this case, let's go with the freest market. We are governed by intelligent machines that perform calculations to determine the freest market. Everyone hustles and grinds like a badass visionary. Oh, no, nothing like that, dear. Revachol is a special administrative region, led by an alliance of foreign powers called the Coalition. We have almost no government of our own, certainly no machines. Rhetoric. I don't know. Still looks like there's a lot of hustling going on. Maybe she's wrong, also. If there's... I don't even know what to say. I'm so disappointed. It is quite disappointing, yes. A lot of people would like some form of representation. There's talk, but for now, the RCM is all we've got. If there's no government, how come there are cops? Oh dear, this is troubling. You really ought to know that, being one yourself. There aren't any cops in Revachol, not in the traditional sense. The status of law enforcement has been a complicated matter since the revolution. But we should stop for today, sweetie. You look like you need a break. Besides, I'm not the best person to explain the big things anymore. Half-Light. She's scared now. She's realized you really are brain damaged. What is the revolution you mentioned? A defeat, I'm afraid. The people of this archipelago, wow, I can't pronounce it today. Archipelago tried to build something new, something different. The rest of the world didn't like it, so they came and ended it. This was 42 years ago. But I'm a cop. Whatever it was hasn't stopped me. Of course, sweetie. I really don't know how to explain it better. Empathy. I'm just a poor woman, she thinks. What do I know of these things? And how can I help you? So how'd I do? You didn't do too well, dear. You really only knew what year it is. It does look like you're having trouble remembering things. History and places. Reality, in a word. It's very odd. The lieutenant buries his nose in his notebook. But maybe a fresh set of eyes is what this world needs. And, while I'm no doctor, such bouts of amnesia are often temporary. So I wouldn't worry too much. Volition. She means this sincerely. Worrying won't do you any good. Who could tell me more? Someone more educated in sweeping matters? Maybe you should ask... She turns to the lieutenant. No. He looks away. I'm not an encyclopedia. I won't be a guide either. I'm a detective. Of course. She turns to you. Then I don't know. Someone rich, maybe? Wealthy people are educated, though I don't know where you would find a wealthy person in Martinez. Alright, I'll get going then. Take care, Lena. Of course, dear. Good luck with your case. She gives you a small wave. Another quest. Get a reality lowdown. You have no idea where you are. Lena encouraged you to ask others to explain the world to you in greater detail. Perhaps try a rich person? Rich people are educated. Alright, everyone. I think we've been playing for just about an hour. And we've just gotten out of the hostel. Yup. This is what the game is like for the entirety of the game. So if you don't like reading or listening to me talk, this probably won't be the game that you want to watch. I know I mentioned that before, but there you have it. So, I think we're doing well. We spent an hour with all the conversations that took place inside the hostel. We still have to get over to the body and examine it. We need to call and report the fact that our badge is missing. We need to follow up on the person who made the call. We need to find some cigarettes. We need to find some booze, if I want to actually drink. We need to sing karaoke as well, and we need to find someone rich and have them explain how the world works. We also need to pay for damages, and we have a limited amount of time to do all of these things. In the meantime, I'm going to thank you guys for watching. I will see you all in the next one. And if you can give me any other tips as to how to play Sam Burke, let me know. In particular, his politics, because I really want to make sure I get that right. So thank you all for watching, and take care, everyone. See you all in the next one.